WrestleMania Saturday is in the books, and WrestleMania 39 is off to a great start. One of the best starts to any WrestleMania, and particularly the best night one of any two-night WrestleMania, guaranteed. We had huge moments of drama, fantastic matches, almost top to bottom. I'm going to rank the 8 matches of the 7 that were scheduled, as well as detailing the big moments in my review here. So without further ado, let's jump into it. The big return in what was just before the main event was Pat McAfee, who is booked as part of a wrestling contract, so while he will still be making sporadic appearances, there will be matches as well as commentary. He was originally approached to be in the Royal Rumble, but ended up saying no because he wasn't at full fitness. We see why when he's in matches backflipping off the turnbuckle. McAfee versus Miz was almost 4 minutes. Nothing really to write home about. We can't sit here and call this top match quality, so it's 8 out of 8 in my list. But I will say it was a great little spectacle. It didn't overstay its welcome, and it gave us a little boost between 2 very hot and very good matches to warm us up again. 7th in the list of 8 matches, unfortunately, is the 6-woman tag team match. Becky Lynch, Lita and Trish Stratus on one side, Bayley, Dakota, Skye and Skye of Damage Control on the other. While this match did have some good moments, particularly where Skye started flying, and my word did she fly, she was mostly there to sell, as were all of Damage Control. Damage Control got very little offense and weren't really able to prove what they can do. Becky Lynch took the majority of the beating and ultimately was there to pick up the win, but really Lita and Trish were the ones getting the most focus here. Lita unfortunately worked at quite a slow pace based on what she's able to do at the moment, which I completely understand, much as Stone Cold Steve Austin did last year, working at a much slower pace. Trish was able to work a little faster but was in the ring for a much shorter time. Ultimately Becky had to carry this one. And while it did start slow and pick up later, it didn't pick up enough outside of a couple of moments for Skye. For me, the 6-woman tag is 7th on the list of 8. 6th is the opener, the United States Championship match, John Cena versus Austin Theory. Now, I did have Austin Theory to win this one, and I'm very happy to see that he did, though I will say the match itself was quite dull. Not much really happened. John Cena hit the usual John Cena tropes without hitting an AA, which is unusual because everyone kicks out of the AA now. Meanwhile, Austin Theory showed a little bit of new strings to his bow, a little bit of extra to his repertoire. The biting, which gave him opportunities to get on top of John Cena again. And unfortunately, a ref bump was needed in order to protect John Cena, make sure he got the visible tap out, and then Austin Theory was able to pick up the win. It's a little bit of a shame that we had to go down that route instead of John Cena just putting the man over. I do feel Austin Theory is deserving of being put over in this manner. And while he did win in the Open of WrestleMania, which is a great spot to be in, it is disappointing that John Cena chose to finish it in this manner. And yes, I did say John Cena chose. There's an exclusive for you. 5th in the list of matches is a match I expected to be way further down this list. I expected this match to be at the absolute bottom. It is the Fatal 4-Way Tag match. My hope is that the result here will result in new challenges for the tag team titles, but it does depend on the impending draft. The winners were the Street Profits with some double team offense, Angelo Dawkins pinning Ricochet to him to allow Montez Ford to hit a big frog splash to his back, creating a big opportunity that Angelo Dawkins was able to capitalize on, but that does not tell anywhere near the whole story of this match. Chad Gable demolishing Braun Strowman doing a frog splash off the top rope, Ivar with a second rope dive, essentially jumping onto the rope, bouncing off and hitting a clothesline into a German suplex from Eric. Ricochet being Ricochet and doing a standing shooting star press over the ropes. It was just incredible top to bottom. There was a good moment for Angelo Dawkins as well, derailing the Strowman Express, showing that they have high hopes for him as well. For me, this match was everything we needed. For the second match there, it was quite short, but they were able to fit a lot into it, and it really got the crowd going. It was the spectacle I expected. I'm happy with the Street Profits as winners. I'm good to see where they're going there. And also, I do want to say just an additional shout out for Braun Strowman in general, who has diversified his offense and who is selling a lot more than he used to. The plan under Vince was always for Braun Strowman to be a big hulking monster that you cannot take down. Instead, this version struggled with Otis when he first debuted and is able to be taken down by Angelo Dawkins. He's really putting over other people and selling very strong, and I give him immense credit for that. Fourth is Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins, and I expected this to be good, and it delivered. It was a little bit overbooked with KSI in the prime bottle, but I do feel that's WWE trying to get some viral moments for the TikTok audience. I can't blame them. This entire match was built around the fact that they just wanted to get a few Gen Z viewers and help them stick around. Seth Rollins having the orchestra, well, I would hope an orchestra, but we didn't get that. The conductor conducting the crowd in his theme was a good start, though the audio did sort of, it wasn't in sync, which was disappointing. Though I will say Logan Paul flying around the arena, Rollins in the ridiculous outfit that Becky Lynch is openly jealous of. There was a lot to love in this entrance. The actual match itself was as you'd expect, Logan Paul putting in everything you'd expect, dominating Rollins at times in ring, a couple of big kickouts as well from some strong offense before the finish, but really it came down to Logan Paul accidentally putting KSI through a table after Seth Rollins was able to drag him in. Don't play with your phones all the time, kids. You might get frog splashed by Logan Paul. And Seth Rollins picked up the win with the curb stomp. There are rumours now, primarily by Logan Paul, that his contract has come to an end. I can't confirm that his contract would have come to an end tonight, but we do have to ask the question, will there be a new contract in place? Triple H is making that happen as we speak. Third is Mysterio versus Mysterio, Rey versus Dominic, and this one unfortunately did suffer from a little bit of overbooking, but at the same time it wasn't egregious for me. We did have some fantastic entrances. It was Rey Mysterio in the lowrider with Snoop Dogg, which was not what I was expecting. Dominic in the prison van, which I feel is a real improvement, and the fact that he came down in the shredder attire wearing a Rey Mysterio mask. Dominic is everything that the WWE want in a top heel right now, and he's delivering at an immense level for that. Also, the finish of the match, Bad Bunny essentially interfering to distract Dominik Mysterio and stop him from attacking Rey with a chain after Legado came down to stop Judgment Day from getting involved as well. There was a lot of very good things as an end result of everything happening here, and suggests that Bad Bunny, having cost Dominik Mysterio the match, will go into the Backlash pay-per-view of Puerto Rico against Dominik Mysterio, which I've got to say, if you want to put Dominic on the map, a match between Dominic and Rey, followed by a match between Dominic and Bad Bunny, is going to do that. There are clear high hopes going forwards for Dominik Mysterio, and I do feel we're not far away from Dominic challenging for top gold. If McIntyre wins against Gunther, certainly I think Dominik Mysterio is a shoo-in for an opportunity there. Second of the list is Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. I doubt anyone is surprised for this. This match would have been the main event, but unfortunately there were a few stutters early on before it really picked up pace. Once it did pick up that pace, it was phenomenal action. It did have that WrestleMania main event feel, even though it wasn't the main event. A large part of that being kickouts to big finishes, and in many ways, Charlotte Flair's face taking a significant beating. I really hope once she got back there she was checked for a concussion, and I really hope Charlotte is okay, because she landed on her face several times. Rhea Ripley was able to show her dominance. She was able to show her acting and the facial expression, which really added a lot to the match. Charlotte, meanwhile, did not lean too heavily into face. She did have some face offense, particularly a top rope crossbody, which we don't see a lot. But Charlotte Flair, by and large, still worked as a tweener, not fully working heel because the fans were behind Rhea Ripley, but not fully working face in a way that would potentially stall that momentum. The idea was that Rhea Ripley would stand tall at the end of the match as the new SmackDown Women's Champion, coronated for the future. Rhea Ripley is the future. Charlotte Flair was very proud to be a part of it. That leaves us with the number one match, and it was the main event. I do feel changing the main event was the right choice when you look at it with the benefit of hindsight. I'm all for Royal Rumble winners main eventing, but I do feel this one time we can make the exception. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens challenged the Usos for both the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships and picked up the win. This match was very paint by numbers, and that is absolutely fine because the emotion in the storytelling was absolutely incredible. Jey Uso and Sami Zayn is where this story is. So Jimmy and Kevin Owens were used sporadically, and when they were, it was usually in ways to team up or in ways to help out. The finish was between Sami Zayn and Jey Uso in the middle of the ring. 3 hell of a kicks to take down Jey Uso after Sami had taken a sustained beating throughout the match. Kevin Owens sporadically coming in, a house of fire, causing carnage. Ultimately, I would not give this a 10 out of 10, a 5-star as it were, because there were long moments of significant beatdown on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens that I felt overstayed their welcome, and I do wish that there was a little more in the finish as well, maybe a bit more actual teamwork, because it did feel like the only teamwork happening was in double super kicks from the Usos. But what I will say, while this match wasn't perfect in terms of in-ring quality, it was extremely good, and what I will say, despite that nitpicking, is that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens fully deserved this moment. The storytelling was tremendous. Jey Uso played his part perfectly, and it capped off what was an amazing first night of WrestleMania. Long live WrestleMania Night 1. WrestleMania Night 2 is now on the way. Be sure to check out the watch party tonight when we go live for another 6-hour stretch. But until then, I've been Tom Colligue. You've been fantastic, and I hope you enjoy WrestleMania.